Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Road, and in today's video we are going to be going over the top 15 best luxury cars for less than $5,000. We've been doing this with like random things. We did it with like JDM cars, and we did it with like American muscle cars, whatever. We're doing it with all kinds of things. Today we're doing it on a luxury car. Some guy in the comments was like, give us one for luxury cars, and I was looking at my channel. I don't think I've ever done a single cheap luxury cars video. Not a single one. Not a single one. So today is as far as I can tell, the first Mark Roden cheap luxury cars. Now, I'm not the biggest luxury car enthusiast. Obviously, I'm more into the sports side of things. So, you know, take everything I say here with a grain of salt. Some of these cars, I don't know too much about them. So pretty much all I'm going to be able to tell you about them is their engine. Okay, so keep that in mind. A song of the day, though, is called You Found Me by The Fray. It's a classic, dude. This song is just so... You'll know it when you listen to it, man. You probably like won't remember it. You know, you'll be like, what is that? I never heard of that before. But then you listen to it and you're like, oh, I know that song. That's a banger. That's a banger. And it is a banger. It is absolutely a banger, 100%. Without further ado, let's get right into it with number 15. Alright, so coming in at the number 15 spot is going to the wonderful Cadillac CTS second generation. Now, Cadillac has always kind of been a big name in the luxury world. This I know, but when it comes to the CTSs, I don't know. That's where it gets iffy. I'm not the biggest CTS fan. As a matter of fact, I'm not really the biggest Cadillac fan. Ooh, hot take. Either way, this car comes with a 3.6 liter V6, making 263 horsepower, going to, of course, the rear wheels. A lot of sixes there. A scary amount of sixes, as a matter of fact. 3 of them. Woo. But no, the Cadillac CTS has always just been... It's a good car, and specifically the second generation, but you can find a first gen under 5K as well. I just think the second gen looks better. I'd personally rather own the second generation, but if you like the first gen better, that's also under 5K. Coming in at the number 14 spot is a car that I do know about, that I am a big fan of, the Lexus SC300. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes, papa. This mother lover is so gorgeous. I've talked about it millions of times before in the past, but I love SC300s. I want one so bad. Either way, the car comes with a 3-liter inline-6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. You could also get a 400, which comes with a 4-liter V8. The ride will actually be smoother, so I think, realistically speaking, the SC400 is probably the more like luxurious one. However, I do think it's easier to find an auto SC300 than it is to find an SC400 nowadays. But either way, the reason why this car is at number 14 is because these are wanted cars. Like, people like these things, and so it's kind of hard to find a good one under $5,000. But if you can, dude, you hit a gold mine. You hit the diamond in the rough. 13th place. Coming in at the old number 13 spot, my friendos, is going to the wonderful Jaguar XJ6. I love these freaking things. I don't know if they're like horrible, but I love how they look. The Jaguar XJ6s look absolutely incredible, and they look like a type of car that you would expect like the Queen of England to drive. The thing comes with a 4-liter inline-6, making 245 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Now, here's the thing. I get that it's a British car, but it's an inline-6 British car. And it's a more classic British car, too. I feel like these cars are probably going to be pretty reliable. And on top of that, the price of these things for what they are is unbelievable. And they look just so, like, elegant, man. They look just so, like, bougie and clean and nice. I love them. Coming in at the 12th position, however, is going to be going to a car, again, that I do know a lot about, actually, the Audi A4 B7. I mentioned the A4 B7 in almost all my cheap car videos because it's just a freaking good car for its price right now. Honestly, any A4 for less than 5K, as long as it's obviously not a pooper, should be pretty good. This car comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 200 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. Pretty good combo. I mean, the 2-liter turbo is the same one that was in the Mark V GTIs. Can make some good power if that's what you're going for as well. It's not the most luxurious on this list, though, and that's why it's here at the number 12 spot. The A4 Audis are more like their entry-level, you know, base model Audis, whereas the A6s and things like that are the ones that get to be the more, you know, luxurious ones. But it's still a luxurious car. It's an Audi at the end of the day. Coming in at the number 11 spot might be a bit of a weird one. You probably weren't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it, okay? This one came out of left field. I was writing this list and it drove into my freaking room and was like, hey, you forgot about me. It's the Buick LeSabre. Specifically the 1999 model, but honestly, like literally any model of the Buick LeSabre, and you're good. In terms of luxury, it's definitely not the best on this list, but it does have more than like I would say an average car does, so that's why I'm putting it here. But in terms of everything else, it's absolutely incredible. They come with a 3.8 liter V6, making 205 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. These things are just tanks. They look like actual grandfather mobiles? Yes, like no ifs, ands, or buttholes about it, man. That is a grandpa car, but it'll get you from point A to point B, and it'll do it well. And on top of that, maybe you're into grandmas, and if that's the case, here you go. Coming in at 10th place, however, is a car where I'm definitely not in tuned with it. So you guys are gonna have to, let me know if my assessment of it is correct in the comments. It's the Mercedes CLK 320 W203. I've mentioned multiple times in the old past how I'm definitely not the biggest Mercedes fan, but they are clear winners when it comes to cheap luxury cars. Like, they are just used ones, at least. Obviously new ones are not cheap, but used Mercedes are very good cheap luxury cars. This one comes with a 3.2 liter V6 making 215 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. It looks good in my opinion. I've always thought they looked great. You can get the coupe, and the coupe looks really good. And it's a Mercedes. I mean, what else can you say? Do they get the reliability down? Absolutely not. Do they get the performance down? In my opinion, absolutely not. But do they get the luxury down? Absolutely. Coming in at 9th place, listen, man, you guys are gonna have to hear me out here because people sleep on this car so much. Might as well call it a Tempur-Pedic. It's the BMW 650i E63. Everybody hates the rear end of the E63 6 Series BMWs. Do I like them? No, I kind of think it looks like one of those beluga whales. You remember that whale in Finding Dory that was using the echolocation and he couldn't do it correctly? It kind of looks like one of those, but it's not horribly ugly. And the car comes with a 4.8 liter V8 making 360 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. Now, 360 horsepower is obviously a lot, but the car is also heavy, keep that in mind. And it uses that power in other aspects of the car because it is a luxury car, but it's still a quick car. It still looks, in my opinion, incredible, especially from the front. You look at an E63 BMW from the front, it's gorgeous. I'm sick and tired of acting like this car is not cool. I love it. Is it reliable? Absolutely not. Like, horribly unreliable, but it's cool. Coming in at 8th place, however, is going to a bit of another slept-on one. I want to say it's as Tempur-Pedic as the last one. This one's maybe like a mattress on the side of the highway, like it's slept on, but only by like homeless people. It's the Chrysler 300. First generation in particular, because the second gen is not under 5K yet. Once it does get to like that point though, good car for that money. Car comes with a 3.5 liter V6 making 250 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. I feel like every single car on this list is like right in that range of horsepower. Like every one of them is from like 200 to 250 horsepower for some reason. Either way, this car is they're boats. In terms of performance, they're obviously horrible. Transmissions in these things are really unreliable, and most people would much rather have the V8 one for obvious reasons. It's better and cooler, but if you're looking for strictly luxury and that's it, then the V6 is cheaper and it's still got all the luxurious components to it. It's just a boat for a reason, man. It's a luxury boat. 7th place, I am sick and tired of people acting like Volkswagen is like the only unluxurious freaking German brand. You're wrong. Volkswagen has luxurious cars, and here's one of them. The Volkswagen Passat 5th generation. Now, I know what you're thinking, man. Passats are not the pinnacle of luxury, and they're not, and that's why it's here at the number 7 spot, because everything else about the car is incredible. It comes with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline-4, making 170 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. It's pretty much just a slightly larger version of the Mark IV GTIs, and if you know Mark Roden, you know how much I love those cars already. So getting a slightly larger version is totally fine by me. The longer wheelbase and obviously everything like that is going to make the performance slightly worse, but in return you get luxury. You see how this works? Do you understand it now? My dogs are even like, yeah, that's how it works. Coming in at 6th place, however, is going to the like 2000s luxury monster. Do you guys remember back in like the 2000s, if you owned one of these cars, you were like a big time player. The Lexus GS400s, they're pretty much just like slightly smaller in size but larger in cabin space SC400s, I should say. They come with a 4 liter V8 making 270 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Yet again, this car also has a 300 variant which comes with a 2JZ GE, but we just talked about that with the SC300, so this time we're talking about the 400. It is going to be slightly smoother and everything because it does have that V8, but it's also, I do think the GS400 is overall the more luxurious one, especially considering it has 4 doors. Like, I feel like the whole part of like luxury cars is like you can fit all your boys in them, and like you can have like a chauffeur drive you around and stuff. You obviously can't really do that with an SC300. I mean, you can, but that'd be weird. Imagine like a chauffeur driving a dude around in like a Miata. It'd be awesome. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. Coming in at 5th place, you thought, you silly man, you small stinky man, you thought there was only gonna be one single Cadillac on this list. Well, you thought wrong. Dingleberry. It's the Cadillac Escalade 2nd generation. Now, the 1st generation, I'm sure you could find them under 5K, but I couldn't care less because, in my opinion, there's no real reason to buy the 1st gen when the 2nd gen is as cheap as it is, and it's so much cooler. The 2nd gen comes with a 6-liter V8 making 345 horsepower, and it is 4x4. Keep in mind, 345 horsepower is obviously not saying much when the truck weighs 10,000 pounds. And so, yeah, it's not a race car. It's an Escalade. If you were thinking you were going to race around an Escalade, I mean, it might be your first day in the world. It honestly might. Honestly, babies don't even think they could race around in an Escalade, so I'm sorry, but you're still a cell swimming around down there. It's kind of weird. Either way, Escalade 2nd generation, what is it? It's pretty much just a Tahoe. Tahoes are already pretty nice cars. My mom had one. Like, I loved that thing. It was a great car. But now it has even more luxurious features to it. It's just a good car, man. Coming in at 4th place, however, is definitely not the pinnacle of reliability, but in terms of luxury, it's got it. The Mercedes C300 W204. Yet again, I'm not the biggest Mercedes fan, so I really don't know too much about this car. However, I do like these ones, how they look. I always loved the W204's looks, especially like the C63s. The C63 like Black Series W204s. Call me daddy. I like those cars. This car comes with a 3-liter V6 making 228 horsepower. Yet again, between that 200 to 250 horsepower range is so weird. And it is rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You can get a 4MATIC all-wheel drive version. I would recommend it if you can, because why not? If you're just going for luxury, it's better. And yeah, Mercedes, yet again, like I said before, they're really luxurious cars. This is, like, in my opinion, a much more reliable Audi A4. And in my opinion, it also kind of looks better. But coming in at 3rd place, not only is it not a luxury list without including at least one BMW, it is not a Mark Rodin list without including at least one BMW. And this is the second one because I love them. I don't know what else to say, man. I'm a big BMW fan. This is the BMW 740iL E38. The L is there because I don't know what it stands for. Long? Maybe, because it is longer than the regular 740i, so that's hopefully what it stands for. Car comes with a 4.4-liter V8 making 286 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Yet again, that V8 is not used for power purposes, but it's used for luxury, smooth ride, comfort purposes, so keep that in mind. But I know what you're thinking, it's a V8 power BMW, it's probably unreliable. No, you big idiot. It's actually the same V8 that they put in the E39 540i's, and it's as far as I can tell from forums, I don't want to sound like an idiot here, I'm going off of what other people online are saying, so keep this in mind. But as far as I can tell on forums, the V8s in the 740i E38s and the E39 540i's are one of the most reliable BMW V8s of all time, which is, I mean, I guess isn't saying too much, but it is. Also, guys, this is random, I know, but would you guys want to see me do like a video, like going over car community hot takes? I made a couple of hot takes of my own a little while ago, but I was on TikTok today and saw some other guy, and I was like, I want to make a video like speaking my mind on this guy's hot takes. Would you guys be interested in a video like that? It's just a video idea I came up with. Either way, 2nd place is the Audi A6 C6. Remember what I was saying before with the A4? The A6s are pretty much just a much more luxurious models. This one comes with a 3.2-liter V6 making 255 horsepower. It's literally like all in the same horsepower range, and it is all-wheel drive. These are obviously big vehicles. Yet again, I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record here, but no, this car is not like a performance monster. It's strictly luxury based. Like they're long vehicles. They got a long wheelbase. They're heavier, but in the insides of them, oh my lord, they are some nice vehicles. My dad had an A6, the previous generation, I guess C5, I guess. He had an A6 of that, and every time we drove in it, it just felt so comfortable. And I was like early 2000s car, man. This is even later, and they look good. But 1st place, I mean, the TikTok kids got it right. They're not wrong. It just really does check all the boxes for a luxury car for less than 5K. It's the Lexus LS400. There's a reason why this car is so incredibly popular. Remember the 740iL we were just talking about? This car literally just did everything that the 740i did, but better and for cheaper. It's like, it really is just an incredible car for its price right now. The car comes with a 4-liter V8 making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That's the same motor that came in the GS400 and the SC400, and probably another Lexus out there. They reused motors all the time back then. And it is just, again, it's another car that kind of looks like a grandpa car stock. I mean, there are people that modify these and make them have like negative 50 degrees of camber, and it's like, it's not luxurious at all. I don't get that, but they do it, and you know, it works, I guess. But they're just unbelievable. They were so good at, little fun fact for you, little trivia here. The LS400 was so good at being a cheap, like reliable too. Like the one you see is insanely reliable. A cheap, reliable, very luxurious car that Mercedes-Benz was caught reverse engineering the LS400 to try and see what they did to implement it into their own cars. Like, that happens, don't get me wrong, in the car community. Like, car companies do, you know, take other ideas from other cars, but reverse engineering the entire car, taking every part of it, like, apart to try and see every single thing that they did. And then they even called them out. I think it was BMW, Audi, or Mercedes. One of the three even tried calling out Lexus and saying that they were, like, lying about their taxes or something, because there was no way that the LS400 should have been able to be sold that cheap because of how luxurious it was. That's how good this car was in terms of its luxury. You can find one for less than 5K now. That's incredible. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 15 best luxury cars for less than $5,000. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. And let me know if you guys think that would be a good idea. Because like I said, man, I was scrolling on the old TikToks today, and I came across videos of people talking about, you know, hey, this is a hot take I got about cars. And some of them were so stupid. I was like, that guy just doesn't know what he's talking about. And I really wanted to go over them. Obviously, I'd probably block out their names or whatever, that way, because I was having some colored opinions about some of these guys. They were just not the most intelligent car people out there, in my opinion. And so I would probably block out their name. I don't want to drag people's name through the mud. That's not me. But I do want to talk about their hot takes and stuff. I think it would be a good idea, and it would be a fun video idea. So let me know what you guys think, though. I'd really appreciate it. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidanya, and have a nice night.